In a stunning turn of events that has sent shockwaves through the global automotive industry, Tesla has officially lost its crown as the world's largest electric vehicle manufacturer, marking the end of an era that fundamentally reshaped how the world thinks about transportation. The American automaker that pioneered the modern electric car revolution, that transformed electric vehicles from niche products into mainstream aspirations, has been dethroned by its Chinese rival BYD, a company that was virtually unknown in Western markets just a decade ago. This development represents far more than a simple change in market leadership rankings. It signals a fundamental shift in the competitive dynamics of the automotive industry and raises profound questions about the future trajectory of the company that once seemed untouchable. The numbers that emerged at the beginning of 2026 told a story that no one in the automotive world had anticipated just 2 years prior. Tesla announced it had delivered approximately 1.64 million vehicles throughout 2025. A figure that represented a devastating 9% decline compared to the 1.79 million vehicles delivered in the previous year. This decline was not an isolated incident or a single quarter of underperformance. It marked Tesla's second consecutive year of falling deliveries, a phenomenon that would have been virtually unthinkable for the company as recently as 2023, when it was celebrating record-breaking sales. The trajectory from market leader to a company fighting to maintain its position had happened with a speed that caught even the most pessimistic analysts off guard. The contrast with BYD's performance was nothing short of stark and painted a picture of two companies moving in entirely different directions. The Chinese automotive giant reported selling 2.26 million fully electric vehicles during the same period, representing a substantial and decisive lead over Tesla's diminished figures. To fully appreciate the magnitude of this shift, consider that in 2024, Tesla had narrowly maintained its lead with 1.79 million deliveries compared to BYD's 1.76 million battery electric vehicles, a margin of victory so narrow that industry watchers had predicted BYD would overtake Tesla in the very near term. The speed with which that prediction became reality, however, caught many by surprise. BYD's ability to not only match but significantly exceed Tesla's delivery volumes while the American company was experiencing declining sales demonstrated the Chinese manufacturer's growing manufacturing prowess and market penetration capabilities that had been quietly developing for years. The fourth quarter of 2025 proved particularly brutal for Tesla, with the company reporting just 418,227 vehicle deliveries. This figure represented a staggering 15.6% decline compared to the same period in 2024, when Tesla had delivered 495,570 vehicles. The magnitude of this decline far exceeded analyst expectations and suggested that Tesla was facing challenges that extended beyond simple market cyclicality or temporary production disruptions. Production figures painted a similarly concerning picture, with Tesla manufacturing 459,445 vehicles in Q4 2025, compared to 463,000 units in the same quarter the previous year, indicating that the company's production capacity was also being affected by softer demand that showed no signs of abating. To understand how significant this moment is, we need to look back at how Tesla rose to its position of dominance in the first place. Tesla was founded in 2003 by a group of entrepreneurs who sought to prove that electric vehicles could be desirable, high-performance alternatives to gasoline-powered cars. Under the leadership of Elon Musk, who joined as chairman and later became chief executive officer, Tesla successfully navigated a series of existential challenges that many observers believed would destroy the company. The journey from a small startup struggling to produce its first roadster to the most valuable automotive company in the world by market capitalization was one of the most remarkable corporate success stories of the 21st century. The company's breakthrough came with the Model S, a luxury sedan that demonstrated that electric vehicles could compete with the best internal combustion vehicles in terms of performance, range, and desirability. This was followed by the Model X SUV and, most importantly, the Model 3, a more affordable sedan that finally brought Tesla's technology to the mass market. By 2020, Tesla had established itself as the clear leader in the EV market, with a product lineup that spanned multiple price segments and a brand that commanded extraordinary loyalty among its customers. The company's market capitalization soared past traditional automakers like Toyota, Volkswagen, and General Motors, despite selling a fraction of the number of vehicles. Such was the market's faith in Tesla's future potential. The year 2023 represented the peak of Tesla's delivery volumes, with the company reporting 1.808 million vehicle deliveries for the year. This figure represented the culmination of years of production ramp-ups, factory expansions, and market expansion efforts. Tesla had successfully established manufacturing facilities in multiple countries, including the United States, China, and Germany, and had developed a reputation for innovation that extended beyond vehicles to include battery technology, solar energy, and artificial intelligence. The company had become synonymous with the electric vehicle revolution, and its charismatic leader was celebrated as a visionary who was working to save the planet through sustainable transportation. However, the seeds of Tesla's decline were sown during the period of its greatest success. As the company grew larger, it faced the challenge of maintaining the growth rates that investors had come to expect while competing in an increasingly crowded market. The electric vehicle market that Tesla had essentially created was now attracting substantial competition from established automakers, new startups, and, most significantly, Chinese manufacturers who had recognized the strategic importance of the EV transition. The competitive landscape that Tesla had once dominated was becoming increasingly hostile as well-funded rivals brought compelling products to market. One of the most significant developments affecting Tesla's trajectory during this period was Elon Musk's increasingly prominent role in American politics, particularly his vocal support for Donald Trump's 2024 presidential campaign and his subsequent involvement in the Trump administration. Musk's political engagement represented a dramatic departure from his previous positioning as a somewhat apolitical technology entrepreneur focused on solving humanity's grand challenges through innovation. Following Trump's election victory, Musk was appointed to a significant role in the new administration, taking on responsibilities that included advising on government efficiency initiatives and influencing policy decisions affecting multiple industries, including automotive technology. Musk's political alignment represented a significant gamble with Tesla's brand and customer base. The company had historically attracted customers who were environmentally conscious, technologically inclined, and often politically progressive. This customer demographic had been a key driver of Tesla's success, providing a base of loyal customers who were willing to pay premium prices for vehicles that aligned with their values. Musk's embrace of Trump, a figure who was deeply polarizing and whose political positions were often at odds with the environmental priorities that had motivated many Tesla customers, threatened to alienate this core constituency that had been cultivated over years. The data on Tesla's brand loyalty following Musk's political pivot painted a concerning picture for the company. According to analysis by S&P Global Market Intelligence, Tesla's brand loyalty among U.S. customers collapsed from 73% to just 49.9% in the aftermath of Musk's Trump endorsement. This dramatic decline indicated that a substantial portion of previous Tesla customers were no longer considering the company for their next vehicle purchase, a development that had direct and immediate implications for future sales. The loss of brand loyalty among existing customers was particularly damaging because automotive purchases are relatively infrequent, meaning that retaining existing customers is just as important as acquiring new ones. The decline in brand loyalty was not limited to the United States. In Europe, where public backlash to Musk's politicking had been particularly fierce, Tesla's sales fell by 33% over the first 6 months of 2025. The European market had traditionally been strong for Tesla, with countries like Norway, Germany, and the Netherlands representing significant markets for the company's vehicles. The severity of the decline in this region suggested that Musk's political activities had created lasting damage to Tesla's brand perception in markets where political views more closely aligned with those Musk had opposed. The geographic distribution of the backlash was significant and suggested that the damage was not confined to any single market. Despite the brand damage from Musk's political activities, his alignment with the Trump administration created potential regulatory advantages for Tesla's autonomous vehicle ambitions. The Trump administration moved quickly to ease regulations governing self-driving vehicles, changes that could significantly benefit Tesla's robotaxi initiative. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration proposed rules that would reduce testing requirements for autonomous vehicle companies using passenger vehicles, lowering the minimum testing mileage requirement to approximately 50,000 miles. These regulatory changes represented a significant shift from the approach taken by previous administrations, which had emphasized caution and thorough safety evaluation before permitting widespread deployment of autonomous vehicles. Tesla had been promising fully self-driving capabilities for years, with the company marketing its full self-driving system as a feature that would eventually enable true autonomy. However, the technology had remained in a supervised state, requiring human drivers to remain attentive and ready to take control. The regulatory changes under the Trump administration raised the possibility that Tesla could move more quickly toward deploying unsupervised autonomous vehicles, potentially opening new revenue streams through robotaxi services. The new framework was explicitly designed to support U.S. automakers in developing self-driving cars, and enabling them to compete more effectively with Chinese rivals, who were also advancing autonomous vehicle technology. Tesla's robotaxi initiative had become increasingly central to the company's investment thesis as traditional vehicle sales faced pressure. The company unveiled plans for a dedicated autonomous vehicle called the Cybercab, featuring a futuristic design without a steering wheel or pedals that Musk claimed would revolutionize urban transportation. Tesla expected to begin mass production of Cybercabs in 2026, though the vehicles would require key regulatory approvals before they could operate on public roads. This strategic shift carried significant risks, as the company was essentially betting its future on technology that had not yet been proven at scale. This strategic pivot had been accompanied by some controversy that had raised questions about Tesla's priorities. The company had reportedly canceled plans for a more affordable mass-market electric vehicle, sometimes referred to as the Model 2, which was expected to sell for around $25,000. According to reports from Reuters, executives were alarmed when Musk publicly denied that the low-cost vehicle had been canceled, despite the fact that internal discussions had led to its discontinuation in favor of focusing resources on the robotaxi initiative. By abandoning the affordable vehicle market, Tesla was ceding territory to competitors who were offering electric vehicles at price points accessible to a much broader range of consumers. The rise of BYD as the world's largest electric vehicle manufacturer represented the culmination of a strategic effort that had been years in the making. The Chinese company, which originally focused on rechargeable batteries before expanding into automobiles, had leveraged its manufacturing expertise, supply chain control, and government support to create a comprehensive portfolio of electric vehicles, ranging from affordable city cars to luxury models. BYD's success was built on several competitive advantages that Tesla could not easily replicate, including complete control over its battery supply chain through its subsidiary FinDreams, which manufactured the lithium iron phosphate batteries that BYD used in many of its vehicles. The company's domestic market in China provided a massive testing ground for new technologies and a scale of operations that enabled learning curves that would be difficult for competitors to match. China's electric vehicle market was the largest in the world, with new energy vehicles reaching 50% of new vehicle sales in 2025, overtaking internal combustion vehicles for the first time. BYD's sales in China alone exceeded the total vehicle sales of many global automakers, providing a financial foundation that supported its international expansion efforts. The company had established a strong presence in emerging markets and was making inroads into Europe and other regions. One of the factors shaping the competitive landscape was the existence of significant trade barriers that affected how automakers could compete across different markets. Chinese automakers like BYD faced substantial tariffs and regulatory barriers in the United States, with duties on Chinese EVs reportedly exceeding 100% in some cases. This protectionist environment had allowed Tesla to compete in the American market without facing direct competition from Chinese manufacturers. The asymmetry in market access had become a point of contention in public discussions about the electric vehicle industry, with critics arguing that Tesla's position as the leading American EV manufacturer was partly a function of protectionist policies that prevented Chinese competitors from accessing the U.S. market. Tesla's stock performance in 2025 presented a complex picture that defied simple characterization. Despite the decline in vehicle deliveries, Tesla shares had shown resilience, with the stock ending 2025 near its highs for the year. Polymarket traders assigned 64% odds to Tesla closing 2025 between $450 and $475 per share, indicating that the market remained surprisingly optimistic about the company's prospects despite its operational challenges. The disconnect between Tesla's stock performance and its operational results reflected the market's focus on the company's future potential rather than its current fundamentals. Analysts and investors continue to value Tesla not merely as an automotive company, but as a technology platform with optionality in artificial intelligence, autonomous driving, and energy storage. The company's valuation incorporated substantial expectations for the robotaxi initiative and the eventual deployment of fully autonomous vehicles. However, not all analysts shared this optimism, with some maintaining underperform ratings on the stock, suggesting that the shares were overvalued relative to the company's near-term prospects. Tesla's financial results throughout 2025 illustrated the challenges facing the company as it attempted to navigate the transition from a pure-play electric vehicle manufacturer to a broader technology platform. The company's earnings were expected to fall 32% to $1.64 per share in 2025, representing the third straight year of substantial annual decline since earnings had peaked at $4.07 per share in 2022. The declining earnings trajectory reflected the pressure on Tesla's core automotive business, which had historically generated the majority of the company's profits. The announcement of Tesla's loss of the EV crown to BYD generated substantial reaction on social media platforms, with particularly robust discussion on Reddit's World News community, where the story received over 6,000 upvotes and 466 comments. The public response provided a window into the broader sentiment surrounding Tesla's situation and the polarized views that the company and its leadership had come to embody. Many commenters expressed concern about the company's trajectory, with some noting that the difficulties were attributable to factors within its control, including product quality issues and reputational damage from leadership decisions. The polarization around Musk's political activities was prominently featured in the comments, with numerous users referencing his controversial public appearances and their impact on the company's image. Beyond the commentary, numerous users shared personal decisions to discontinue their patronage of Tesla, illustrating the direct impact that Musk's political activities were having on customer relationships, and suggesting that sentiment was translating into actual purchasing decisions. The geographic distribution of the backlash was significant, with declines in Europe being particularly pronounced. In an unusual twist that connected the automotive industry to global commodity markets, China announced new policies restricting silver exports that took effect on January 1, 2026. China, which controlled a significant portion of global silver processing capacity, implemented an export licensing regime that required companies to obtain government approval before exporting the precious metal. The connection to Tesla and the broader EV industry lay in silver's critical role in automotive manufacturing, as the metal was used in electrical systems and the increasingly sophisticated electronic features found in modern electric cars. Elon Musk himself had publicly commented on silver prices, reportedly stating, "This is not good," as prices surged ahead of China's export restrictions. The rising cost of silver added another pressure point for EV manufacturers, who were already facing cost challenges from battery materials and manufacturing complexity. Complicating the supply situation further, India had emerged as a significant consumer of silver, with demand surging as the country expanded its manufacturing capabilities. This development illustrated the interconnected nature of global commodity markets and the challenges facing manufacturers in an era of geopolitical uncertainty. Analysts and investors had identified 2026 as a defining year for Tesla's future trajectory. The successful execution of the robotaxi initiative would be critical to justifying the company's elevated valuation and establishing a new growth narrative that could offset weakness in traditional vehicle sales. The autonomous vehicle landscape was evolving rapidly, with multiple companies competing to establish leadership in the technology. Tesla's approach, which relied primarily on camera-based systems and artificial intelligence rather than the LiDAR sensors favored by some competitors, had generated both enthusiasm and skepticism. The long-term outlook for Tesla would depend on its ability to navigate multiple challenges simultaneously. The company needed to address the brand loyalty issues that had emerged from Musk's political activities, while competing effectively against established automakers and Chinese rivals. It needed to execute on the ambitious robotaxi initiative while maintaining its position in the traditional vehicle market, and it needed to do so in an environment of evolving regulations, shifting consumer preferences, and intensifying global competition. Tesla's fall from its position as the world's largest electric vehicle manufacturer represented a watershed moment in the evolution of the global automotive industry. The company that had defined the electric vehicle revolution and established the template for modern EV design and marketing now faced a period of uncertainty as it attempted to navigate a transformed competitive landscape. The challenges facing Tesla were multifaceted and interrelated, and the company's trajectory would have implications not only for its shareholders, but for the broader electric vehicle industry and the future of autonomous transportation. As 2026 unfolds, all eyes will be on Tesla's execution of its robotaxi strategy, its response to competitive pressures in the traditional vehicle market, and its ability to repair the damage to its brand and customer relationships. The era of Tesla's unchallenged dominance in the electric vehicle market has ended, and a new chapter in the industry's evolution is just beginning. Whether Tesla can reinvent itself once again and reclaim its position at the forefront of automotive innovation remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: the story of Tesla and the electric vehicle revolution is far from over, and the coming years will be critical in determining what comes next for the company that changed the world.